Okay, so you know that feeling. You're just buried under reports, tons of information, and you just need the key stuff, right? The insights that actually matter. Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today. We're doing a deep dive into something called the Honey Badger Management Framework, HBMF. We're looking at why it's getting traction, why people are talking about it for investment banks, thinking about, 2025 and onwards.
Yeah.
Especially with everything happening with AI, ESG becoming so critical, and, well, the constant need to scale things up.
And we've got some really interesting material here. It ranges from detailed research on different management frameworks to comparisons, looking at where each one kind of shines or doesn't. Our mission really in this deep dive is to pull out the essentials on HBMF. What's it fundamentally about? Why is it being suggested as maybe a top choice for investment banking's future?
Right.
We're honing in on its strengths, especially how it handles AI, ESG compliance, and that scalability piece. And, why these things might make it stand out from the, let's say, traditional ways of doing things.
Okay, let's get right into it then. What is this Honey Badger Management Framework? I mean, the name alone, it sounds pretty tough.
It does, doesn't it? Basically, HBMF is set up as an AI-compatible agile system. And when we say agile, we mean, flexible, iterative project management. It's designed for managing projects, sure, but also entire organizations. A big part of it is the focus on leadership and sustainability. ESG compliance is sort of baked in from the start.
Okay.
It was really built for today's tech environment, all the rapid change. So it's very relevant for the kind of challenges and opportunities investment banks are dealing with right now.
Introduced relatively recently, right?
Yeah, the Honey Badger Guide by Dr. Georgios Fradelos that came out in February 2023. So yeah, it's pretty new, designed with the current landscape in mind.
Gotcha. So what makes this framework stand out, compared to the ones we already know? What's its edge?
Well, the research highlights a few key things. First, it seems really good at weaving AI into the day-to-day work, but crucially, it includes human oversight to sort of catch errors from the AI.
Okay, that's important.
Definitely. Second, its structure. It uses small teams, 6, 8, maybe 12 people, guided by these shared leaders they call gurus. That design is meant to handle really large organizations without getting bogged down, tackling those common scaling problems. And third, a big one is the potential for real-time carbon tracking. If you use the right tools alongside it, that directly feeds into the ESG goals. Plus, there's this prospect of saving energy because AI can automate some of the routine stuff.
Okay, this AI part is, well, it's fascinating, isn't it? This idea of integrating AI, but also managing the risks, like those hallucinations we hear about the AI getting things wrong. How does HBMF tackle that?
Right. So HBMF puts AI assistants right into the teams. Each team gets one to help with, knowledge work. But, and this is key, it doesn't just let the AI run wild. There are specific roles. The guru, who checks if everyone's following the framework rules, and the manager, who assigns the actual work. Both of these roles are positioned to double-check the AI's output. It's this dual-check system that's really designed to mitigate those hallucinations.
Like a built-in safety net.
Exactly. It's proactive AI governance right inside the workflow. Not like some older frameworks where AI is just this external tool you manage separately. And this lines up with research showing that, humans and AI working together with verification steps really cuts down error rates.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like quality control for the AI assistant. So how does this agile AI-focused approach stack up against the more traditional plan-heavy frameworks like PMP or Prince2 you mentioned?
Yeah, that's a critical difference. Frameworks like PMP, Project Management Professional, and Prince2, they're really built around planning everything up front. Lots of detail before you start.
Right, very structured.
Very. And that can be less flexible when you're dealing with AI projects, which are often iterative, sometimes unpredictable. Research actually suggests HBMF's agile setup, with its short work cycles and built-in AI focus, is frankly a better fit for how AI development actually works.
Okay.
That flexibility is a big plus in a field that changes so fast.
And what about other agile methods, like SAFe, or Prince2 again, or PMN from the EU? How does HBMF compare specifically on handling those AI errors, the hallucinations?
Well, it's interesting. SAFe, the Scaled Agile framework, it's great for scaling Agile up, right?
Yeah.
And Prince2 and PMOM offer structured project management. But generally, they don't have specific baked-in ways to deal directly with AI hallucinations. HBMF, with those clear roles and checks, offers something more targeted for that specific risk. That could be a real differentiator as more companies adopt AI.
Okay, so AI integration seems like a definite plus point. Let's switch gears a bit to another huge topic, especially in finance, ESG, environmental, social governance. How does the Honey Badger framework handle ESG, particularly this idea of real-time carbon costing?
Yeah, ESG is definitely woven into HBMF's fabric. There's a strong focus on sustainability, mainly through using AI to cut down on energy use. That's a core ESG element. Now, the framework itself doesn't dictate which carbon tool to use, but because it's so AI-focused and emphasizes transparency, like with the regular dashboard updates, it seems very compatible with systems that do track carbon in real time. We looked at IBM's Suite, for example, and think about those 7-day short sprints it uses. You could potentially track carbon costs sprint by sprint. That's pretty granular, timely data, which lines up perfectly with the growing demand for, detailed carbon reporting on projects.
So, for an investment bank really serious about sustainability, how does HBMF look compared to, say, PMP in this area?
Well, if you think about the significance of ESG for investors now, traditional frameworks like PMP or Prince2 often handle ESG with maybe checklists or more manual tracking. HBMF's potential to plug right into real-time carbon data, that could be a serious edge for banks focused on sustainable investing, needing that precise current environmental impact data.
You mentioned energy efficiency earlier as part of that ESG picture. Can you unpack that a bit more? How does a framework save energy?
Yeah, good question. It's not the framework itself burning calories, obviously.
Right.
The savings come from using those AI assistants effectively. By automating tasks, routine stuff, knowledge work the AI does, work that a human would otherwise do. And humans consume energy. We saw some pretty interesting numbers in the research, actually, like the daily energy use of a financial analyst, including just their basic metabolism, is quite a bit higher than a laptop running AI software for, say, 8 hours.
Really? That much higher?
Yes, significantly. So when you offload tasks to the AI, there's a real potential for cutting energy consumption. That directly supports the sustainability side of HBMF. It's kind of reframing the energy footprint of knowledge work itself.
That's a fascinating angle. Okay, let's talk scalability. You hear sometimes that agile methods can struggle when you get into really big organizations. How does HBMF claim to achieve massive scaling?
Ah, right. Scalability. This is where HBMF tries to overcome some typical agile limits. It keeps the core teams small, 6, 8, 12 people. That's below Dunbar's number. The rough limit for stable social relationships where traditional agile can sometimes fray.
Okay, small teams, but how do they connect up in a huge company?
That's where the shared gurus come in. They work across multiple teams, helping information flow, keeping everyone aligned with the framework. Plus, they use dashboards and regular communication events, meetings, updates to spread the cognitive load. So no single person or team gets overwhelmed trying to track everything. It borrows ideas from Scaled Agile, sure, but the focus on small teams plus shared gurus seems aimed at keeping things nimble even when it gets really big. That kind of coordination is obviously useful for investment banks juggling lots of portfolio companies.
So potentially big gains in efficiency, scalability. What does that mean for the bottom line, the financial impact for these banks?
Well, the argument is pretty direct. The efficiency gains short cycles, AI helping out, smoother communication should translate into better financial results. The Honey Badger Guide apparently even links management changes, like adopting this, to profitability, citing some transformation examples.
Interesting.
And there's another angle. HBMF uses competitive subteams. Research suggests that this kind of setup collaboration mixed with some internal competition can actually spur innovation.
So competition within the structure.
Yeah, potentially driving new ideas. For an investment bank, fostering that kind of innovation within their portfolio companies could be a real strategic plus. Maybe it tacks into some psychological drivers, better knowledge sharing, and smaller focused units.
Okay, and leadership. Always crucial.
Yeah.
How does HBMF structure leadership, especially now with humans and AI needing to work together more?
It's quite defined, actually. You have the manager, who has the main authority in the team assigning tasks, overseeing performance. And then the guru, who's more focused on making sure the framework's principles are followed, helping teams collaborate. It's a structured approach which seems to fit well with current ideas about leading in these AI-heavy environments. Some research even suggests this kind of clear structure helps AI adoption stick.
So it's not like Scrum's distributed leadership model.
No, it's more hierarchical in a sense, but still within an agile context. It tries to bridge that agile flexibility with the kind of clear decision-making needed in complex places like investment banks.
It all sounds pretty compelling. But what are the catches? What are the roadblocks an investment bank might hit trying to implement something like HBMF?
Oh, sure. It wouldn't be effortless. Like any big change, you'd need a cultural shift, right? Getting people on board, changing how they work.
Definitely.
There's also the investment needed in AI tools and training people to use them effectively. And let's not forget the regulatory side. AI rules are still evolving, and that uncertainty could be a challenge for banks thinking about wide-scale adoption.
Okay, so pulling this all together now, based on this deep dive, is HBMF looking like a genuinely viable, maybe even strong, contender for investment banking's future?
The evidence we've looked at suggests it's a very compelling package, yeah. Especially for investment banks. You've got the AI readiness, the built-in ESG focus, the scalability approach,
Right.
potential energy savings. These things add up to real financial and innovative advantages. It seems particularly suited for banks with portfolio companies heading towards IPOs or those really needing to demonstrate strong ESG performance to investors.
So better suited than, say, PMP for this context.
Well, PMP might still be the go-to for like highly regulated, predictable infrastructure projects. And Lean Six Sigma is great for manufacturing process optimization. But for the dynamic, tech-driven world of investment banking, HBMF looks like a really strong candidate. Our comparison across different frameworks kind of bears that out. It shows significant potential on those key criteria. AI, ESG, scale, energy, even handling AI hallucinations, often looking stronger than others in those specific areas.
Okay, so to wrap up, it sounds like the Honey Badger management framework offers this blend, structured but still agile, that could really help investment banks handle the tricky mix of AI, ESG demands, and scaling effectively, looking ahead to 2025 and beyond.
Exactly. And, maybe it leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Given how fast AI and sustainability rules are changing, how might the core ideas of adaptable frameworks like HPMF start to shape more than just project management? Could they influence the big, long-term strategic thinking in finance itself?
Interesting point.
Yeah, digging into the research, the guide. Probably worthwhile for anyone wanting to get a deeper handle on where things might be heading.